For the first time ever, you can get all of ESPN in the new ESPN app, along with Disney Plus and Hulu. With one incredible offer. The most live sports, biggest blockbusters, and most talked about shows. Get it all in one bundle for $29.99 a month for 12 months. Visit Disney Plus Hulu ESPNBundle.com for details. Ad-supported plan auto renews at regular price. Currently $35.99 a month, subject to change. Unless canceled. Ends 1/5/26. Terms apply.
The Labor Day sale is happening now at RC Willey. Shop incredible store-wide savings today. Looking to upgrade your kitchen or find the perfect sectional for the whole family? RC Willey has everything you need. Now is the perfect time to refresh your home and save big. From furniture to TVs, carpet to mattresses, it's all here at prices you'll love. With flexible finance options and low monthly payments, you can afford to refresh your home now. Don't wait. Shop the Labor Day sale at RC Willey. Tap for incredible savings.
ICON is seeking healthy men and women ages 18 to 55 to participate in a clinical research study. Volunteers must be available for one stay of 12 nights and 13 days, plus
on. Hello?
Oh, but get your hand off me. Oh, sorry. Hi, guys. How's it going?
Hello.
I don't
It's
know
me.
that I was expecting whatever the hell that was, but it happened, and I am a victim of it. Good morning, everybody. Well, it's actually probably not morning.
Fucking excuse me?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Happy time zone.
I'm the American in the room. Forgive me. It's just past morning for me. God forbid.
Me no speak Americano.
Bullshit. Anyway, Cat Dog. Listen, Moons. Cat Dog, what happened? I saw in the chat about your mouse and your microphone, but I don't know about the rest of it. Also, hi Kira, bye Kira, good to see you.
Right, so my theory is that it's an actual mouse and it's chewed through the wire of a microphone.
Alright, Cat Dog, you gotta tell us.
Oh, I have to get a double USB connector.
It could be worse.
That's a
Still-
bastard. But it could
still
be worse,
sad.
but that is a bit of a bastard.
Could be worse, yeah. Well, guys, fellas, we ended the last episode of SpecTopTable on quite the interesting note. Our two adventurers from their wayward places finally came together in a very much so Theron being like, "Hey, bro, read the room."
Mate, believe it or not, it's like this brickwork's a bit shoddy. Believe it or not, that tends to happen after this little thing called war. So,
Yeah, siege warfare. Never regardless.
Yeah. Catapults and
Not
trebuchets
even just
and
like
shit.
regular war. Actual
Aye.
full on siege warfare.
Those bitches had a battering ram shaped like a wolf. It's fucking wild.
Yeah, grand. Anyway,
I want one of those.
of course you do.
I want a kind of what I actually want is like a candle holder that's just shaped like that.
Amazing.
So I could just like that. Like, wouldn't that be cool as fuck?
That would be.
Also,
I would love that.
love it. That was my first thought too. I've had too many animals chew through cables. Oh, right. Speaking of someone that had two cats, one of which had a fondness for specifically headphone cables, the wee cunt. Right? I feel your pain. That wee prick, right? Carson, I'll name him, shame him. He chewed through the cable of a set of Sennhausers I had. And I had them for years. I bought them when I'd left school. Right? Had them for like the better part of a decade. And this fluffy wee war criminal decides, I know what I'm gonna fucking do. I need the sparks. They taste good.
What?
We
And then
can't-
he does it, and he's probably like pawing at his face. Just like.
So, yeah, you'd think it was the guinea pigs, rodents and all, but nope, it was the cats. Fucking cats, I'm telling you, they're pricks.
Oh, not all of them. I live with a
Yes.
cat.
Yeah.
Her name is Sushi. She weighs 14 pounds and is 17 years old.
And she's a prick.
No, she's a baby.
Yeah, my dog did the same with a laptop charger cable once. No.
Ooh. Yeah.
So, okay. I'm going to tell this story real quick. Shammers, you remember Lizzie,
Yes.
right? May
Oh,
she...
yes, the adorable little one that loved me more than you. Yes,
Yeah.
that is it.
Shut up and don't remind me about it. I'm still
I
mad.
could not let that slide. There was no
Still
way
mad.
in hell that was going unsaid. That was going
But
unsaid.
she used to, when she didn't want to be touched, when she was having like her antisocial moments, she would go behind our television, our TV holder stand thing. And she would lay down behind there. And one day we were really confused as to why the TV wasn't working. Because, like, it was working earlier in the day, and the only thing that had happened between when it was working and when it wasn't is that Lizzie had gone back there. And in, like, we kind of pull the TV case stand thing away from the wall, and Lizzie, she didn't, like, she started chewing on one of them, but then in a very, like, cat-like manner started, like, pawing at the rest of them. And she got tangled up in the TV cables, and they all came unplugged. And she looks at my dad and goes, "Father, help." And mind you, this was at a time when she was still a puppy. So, like, she was small as an adult, but she was teeny tiny as a puppy. And she's just wrapped in these cables, and my dad has to like crawl behind there and like scoop her up and just be like, this is the power cord coming off of your like upper arms, and this is the power cable for the cable box coming off of your stomach. Yeah, no, we had to get a little better about cord management, because until the day we moved out of that house, Lizzie would go to her condo, is what we called it, when she didn't want to deal with us. So dogs do it too, is what I'm saying. Okay, cats are not the only criminals.
Yes, they're not the only criminals. They are, however, the most prolific.
No.
And they will just fuck shit up on a whim.
Okay, but again, dogs do as well. They're not innocent in this.
No, they're not. However, I didn't have to replace 2 HDMI cables and 4 sets of headphones because of a dog. I'll give you 3 guesses who made me have to do that shit.
Victimized by the cats is what is happening.
Yes.
Okay.
And also, they also had a habit of torpedoing into a Christmas tree at the speed of Mach fuck you. So.
Oh yeah. Gnarly did that one time. So Gnarly was our bigger dog. He did that one time as a puppy and then never did it again. Not because he got yelled at, but because we have plastic ornaments anyway, like on the lower level of the tree, because our lab, when we had labs, Dora used to just go right into the tree, and it was just getting annoying to have to replace all the fancy ornaments all the time. So we used the plastic ones anyway. But, like, Gnarly, I guess, didn't like the noise it made when they all fell on the ground, and he never did it again, ever in his life. My first dog once lost his shit when he was alone at home. I don't know what happened, actually, but he chewed everything. I know my sister's bed was broken, and he had at least 50 euros in cash. Oh, no. That's crazy. Also, sad. I think the craziest thing a dog that I owned ever did was that Peter climbed up on my brother's bed, which was, like, pretty high off the ground. Peter was, again, big, like, fuck off black lab dog, huge creature. And he climbed up onto this bed and would not come down. Like, and he weighs, like, 60 pounds. He's massive. Like, I can't pick him up off the bed at, like, 8 years old. My brother can't pick him up off the bed at 8 years old. So everyone was like looking for Peter. Oh, where's Peter? Dora's down here. Where's Peter? And we're like, Dad, he's over here. He got on the bed by himself and refuses to come down. And he like tried to hide himself in my brother's bedding to like make it seem like he wasn't there. But again, big fuck off black lab.
The man was comfy. What can you say? He was cozy.
Right, but it was also
just
dinner,
needing a wee nap.
And he was hungry, and he was telling everybody that he was hungry. And, like, whatever. Dogs are weird.
You never heard of breakfast in bed? Room service? Wee bit of hospitality?
Max, bless his soul, once he was alive. Speaking of that kind of thing, he reserved the right to bark at anything he felt was flying over our thing, whether it was seagulls or other birds, or he's even barked at like hot air balloons that were just floating like miles above, that he went, I don't recognize that. Oh, come here, kind of whatever. And so all of the doors on the lower floor where he was were all open inwards. And he got very good at being able to use his weight to open doors that you could push.
Oh no.
He, however, never figured out how the fuck to open a door you needed to pull. And right next to our... So you can see that this might have caused some issues to start with. But there was... We've got a small sort of toilet next to the front door. And this probably happened 7 or 8 times before he learned to sort of bark in his old age, or at least learned to bark to let us know he was there. He would go into this bathroom because he'd like, ooh, door, I want to open it, would open it, go into it. Wouldn't open it enough to let himself out afterwards, and would just be sitting there until we found him. with us going, where the fuck's the dog? He's not in the garden. He's not escaped out the front like that one time that he did and ended up, we found him in the middle of the road with some horse poo. He's not anyway, he's not in his bed. He's not in any of his bazillion beds that Mum insisted on buying him. Where the fuck is he? And every time we get a little bit quicker and going, have we checked the little toilet next to the front door? And every time he'd slink out looking guilty as anything of sort of, oh, I'm traumatized, thank you for freeing me.
Thank you for saving me from the consequences of my own actions.
Pretty much, yeah.
Listen. It's always funny, always just crazy, the chaos our animals get into. And I'm sure we could talk about this for hours and hours and hours, but we're here to recover from a faux pas.
We have a thing to do.
So, we're here to recover from a great big dwarven faux pas. Speaking of animals, my cat is crying for my attention, so I'm gonna go check what's up. Okay, cool. Come back soon. We'll miss you. While you're gone. But, just to give a quick little recap of where we left off, Wheelie and Farron have arrived in Minas Tirith with their different groups. One group from Erebor, one group from the Blue Mountains. A lot of caravanning through places neither of them have been before. A lot of, in Wheelie's case, dealing with elves. A lot of, in Farron's case, cuddling with his warboar in various dwarven encampments across the whole of Eriador, and
lots of wonderful sad warboar noises.
Sad warboar noises. Listen, she's allowed. If you get to have a goat,
I'm not saying she. She absolutely is allowed. I was more quoting on the wonderful voice acting by our wonderful lawmaster to reproduce sad warboar noises.
I stand by what I said in the first episode. I am not a Foley girly. So I do my best. Even if my best is just descriptions.
Really? Wait, so you're not a Foley girly, but you don't fuck with mankind, really?
Yikes.
Fucking great, though.
Yikes, buddy.
Damn it, there goes my plans to have kids. Okay, cool.
That's not...
I was making a Mick Foley joke, motherfucker.
Sorry, the family planning conversation needs to happen at another time. Anyway.
When we're not live on Twitch, ideally.
Yeah.
Fucking
literally.
hell.
Jesus Christ. Anyway. But eventually, these two dwarves from different places in the world arrive in, the City of Men, the last bastion of men in the east, Minas Tirith. And Farron happens upon a very interesting conversation being had by some dwarves from the Blue Mountains, who may or may not have experienced the siege that he lived through in Erebor. And he's like, hey, maybe read the room. So we are going to pick up our sort of conversation there at the base, at the main gates of Minas Tirith, in the first level of 7 in the city. So hold on, yay, it's working. We love it when technology works. I have a fun history of it not working for me, so that's why I'm excited right now. Okay, so the two of you, if you look here at this map, we'll zoom out on like the whole of Minas Tirith. So this is Minas Tirith. You know enough about the city to know that it has 7 levels.
Dear God, it's an aperture.
So it's like they go up, so it's not like just one big circle. It's 7 levels that are like you gain elevation as you pass from one to the other.
All right. In that case, I'd like to revise my statement. Dear God, it's a wedding cake.
Yep. 7 tiers and all of its glory. 6 tiers plus the Citadel. That's where the king lives.
Very emotional. Very emotional. Even the cake was in tears.
Oh my God. I hate it here. Anyway, so you are standing in the main entrance gate area of Minas Tirith. You are on the first level of the city, which is called the Workers' Tier, and that is where all of the people who go out and work in the fields surrounding Minas Tirith, so they farm in the Pelennor fields within the... like, there's a big kind of wall that covers, like... Okay, we're going to rewind and start over. You walk through... There's a wall, and then there's a huge, like, fielded area that surrounds the front of Minas Tirith. Normally, this land would be full of farms, full of people, like livestock, horses. Then there would be guards watching all of these people. But it is very much so at the current moment a sort of scorched earth sort of place. So normally what would be kind of lush farmland is full of trenches and holes and burial mounds and that sort of stuff. Definitely a sign that some sort of very big battle occurred here at a time in the not so distant past.
It is going to take a whole heap of horse shit to get this land farmable again.
Yep. As you say that, your warboar Kaga will look up at you, and she kind of like, she does. You know how dogs kind of throw their heads into your legs or body parts to like try and get your attention. Yeah. She will throw her head kind of against you, and then her head turns to like look. She's looking at something off in the distance that. She believes requires your attention. It remains to be seen whether or not that is the case.
Oh, one of these days she needs to learn how fucking big she is. Jesus.
Yeah. She kind of...
Who am I kidding?
Like with all of the confidence of like a dog who like is on a leash but knows full well that she can just drag you anywhere she wants.
I know exactly the type. Thank you very much for that visual.
Yeah. She just kind of grabs you and she starts like walking. So let's just say that you're kind of like, you're on this path sort of like out here, and your lovely warboar has decided that you need to go somewhere over here. So she's just kind of like, there's kind of a bit of like a ditch or like a trench or something kind of right here that she's like, yeah, we're going this way. Blah. And she just kind of yanks you that way. Can I get you to roll me an awareness check, por favor?
Oh, no. Just a second.
Actually, no, you're looking
I am finding
intentionally,
things.
so I need you to roll a scan check, not an awareness check, sorry. And then I'm gonna...
That helps me immensely.
Yeah, because you are trying to
that.
see what she is looking at. There we go. You are attached.
Right, so I'm trying to... Wait, does that help me?
If I remember correctly, the answer is yes.
Yes, okay, because the wee pips mean a D6. Okay, right,
yes.
So roll, right, D12. That is 9.
Okay.
And then I've got 3 wee pips, that's 3 D6s, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It's good that you know how to say no in German, Cyber. Well, what result did you get?
That's a 3. So 9, 3, 12.
Mm-hmm.
So 14.
Okay.
So I need at least a 2 to meet my target number here
Okay.
on this last dice.
I believe in you. Did you roll a 1? Did you roll a fucking 1?
Nah, I rolled a 3.
Okay, perfect.
I just like to keep you on your toes, you know?
Oh my god. So you beat your target number by 1, and what Kaga has drawn you towards is a there is a sort of like a monument, a kind of rough around the edges monument that has been erected in this field by um, the. You can kind of tell you passed through Rohan on your way here, and so you can kind of tell that it was written by someone of the Rohirrim. Um, you can't necessarily read what it says, but you can kind of tell or infer by the fact that there are a lot of kind of flowers around this sort of makeshift monument that what was done intentionally and for someone of great import to the Rohirrim. So this is sort of like a, I think Kaga caught the smell of something that she thought maybe was food and dragged you over towards it, but it was this instead. Okay, really quickly to answer a question in chat. Quick question.
I literally just typed it.
Oh, there we go. They're all available on the YouTube channel. And there's a prologue in episode 1. And this is episode 2. And then, yeah, we're gonna go into the future as well. So you see this monument, and you're traveling still with the people of Rohan, and a couple of them kind of split off from you and follow you to kind of see what it is. And word had reached Rohan that King Theoden had passed away or been killed in the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, and that Éomer, he was originally the third Marshal of the Rittermark, was now the king of Rohan. They didn't know to expect anything like this. They just kind of saw, and you see a large group of the Rohirrim sort of split off from the group of dwarves who are continuing into the city, and they kind of are going there to pay their respects to their king. Definitely doesn't look like this is a permanent monument by any means, but it is. This is kind of where our king died, and we wanted to honor him, you know, at what you could theoretically assume is the place of his death. Once more with feeling your slightly belligerent, taking after her former master in terms of stubbornness, little piggy, now sort of kind of like huffs at you, and is a little bit disappointed that she didn't get what she went for, but kind of drags you back this way.
That's alright.
She's just being extra sassy today. It's like she knows. So then all the dwarves kind of arrive. Well, the dwarves of Erebor kind of arrive in the main area and are greeted by by what you can assume is like a seneschal or someone important in the king's household. And Farron can either choose to pay attention to the conversation that happens next, or not at his own leisure.
I think if he's close by, would.
Yeah.
If they're not, unless they're trying to actively hide what they're saying.
No.
Then he would just be like, he would go, "You listen."
Yeah. The delegation from Erebor is welcomed to the city of Minas Tirith. They are told that they are guests of honor, that were spoken very highly of by one Gimli, son of Gloin. They're...
Can I get out of that? Can I get out of that? Bloody Gimli, man.
Right?
It's not right. It's not right.
And as this conversation is being had, conversations about lodgings and, information about, you're going to be staying in the, your lodgings are in the Citadel. Here's how you get to the Citadel. Sorry, it's kind of a long walk. It's all uphill. Where information on, stables in the Master's tier where you can, keep your animals, or all that kind of like logistical sort of information. The conversation lasts about 20-25 minutes, just kind of making sure everyone has the information that they need, and then Thorin Stonehelm kind of turns around and dismisses you guys to kind of explore the city or do whatever, with the understanding, don't make a fool out of yourself. Um, and then, can I have Wheelie roll me a um, awareness check, please? So we're just gonna move you out here. You are also technically not fully in the city yet, but you're close enough. Um,
I believe Wheelie is currently not with us at the moment.
oh, well, shit. Okay. Cyber, can you roll me? Literally, this isn't a check. I just need you to roll a number for me.
Oh no, he's just come back. It's all good. He's literally put in the chat that he's back, mate. I can't. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't have Discord on my screen right now because I have to mess with the map. So, Wheelie, can you roll me a craft check, please?
Let's see, where is craft?
Craft should be in the leftmost column.
Ah, yes.
Near song somewhere.
Okay, I'll make 2 of those on my D. So I roll, this is one that I have a pip in, so that'll be 2d12 as advantage in D&D, and
right. Oh yeah, you make it favored. There we go. I'm like,
yeah.
what's the word for it in this game? It's slightly different.
Favor.
Right, so let's see. So that is. So I rolled an 8 and a 7, so I take the 8. And I rolled a 10, so that's 18. So that beats my target number of 13.
Okay. So, something you are, as previously discovered, a man who very much so values or sees value in the quality craftsmanship of the things around you in the world. As you sort of approach the gates of Minas Tirith, something that you notice in the sea of, white stone, marred black, and, crumbling edifices and all kinds of signs of wear and tear in this city, something that catches your eye is that the main gates, which are currently open before you, are uniquely dwarven in their nature. Which, considering that this is a city of men, weird. Kind of piled outside of the gate, you can kind of see what you imagine might have been the remnants of the gate that was there before. And by no means is this gate that is there now, like, elaborate or, like, fancy in any sort of way to, like, befit a city like this. So, like, it doesn't match the grandeur of the rest of the place. But it is dwarven in nature, and you can sort of infer that it was put there even temporarily to replace what was destroyed. So, interesting things that you see. That's kind of what you notice. Are you on your goat right now? Is Turvy with you?
Turvy would be, yes, yeah.
Okay. Turvy's doing that thing he does when he's really hungry. And, like, you know how, like, sometimes toddlers, when they get hungry, they, like, drag their feet and they don't want to do anything? Like, that's where he's at. So you're, like, trying to get the goat to go forward into the city, and he just does not want to. Clearly he is wasting away and dying and will be no more, even though you know for a fact that's not true. He doesn't know that. It's been a long day, and he's hungry with a capital H.
Would Wheelie have any food on, like, travel food on him, or that would be appropriate for feeding a goat.
That would be appropriate for feeding a goat? No. Um, but as you sort of get closer and closer to the gates on, like, Goatbeck, like, all of the other dwarves are kind of, like, laughing at you. Because they knew when this goat was small that he was going to be a pain in the ass as an adult, and now you're stuck with him. So, and
Have it any other way.
So can you make me a? You know what? We're gonna see how much Wheelie Son of Delia knows about goats. Make me a lore check, please.
Okay. So I've got the same little mark for that. So.
Mhm.
So that is a 14, which is 2 below my wits target number. So
Big.
do not oof.
Buddy.
Big oof indeed.
You're kind of like trying to get this goat to move, and remember, he big, right? Like, he's
He a
not
big
like a
boy.
normal, like, farm goat. He big. So as you are trying to wrestle with your big goat, someone who traveled with you,
Goatist of all time.
oh my god. Someone who travels with you just brings you, like, throws over his shoulder even, doesn't even, like, doesn't even bother to, like, put it in your hands. Just throws you, like, a bag of oats. And you're just like, I don't even know if this is gonna help, but it might. And it catches Tirvi's attention immediately. So as you are trying to figure out what's going on with this goat, like, you are just lost and confused and slightly frustrated. He just kind of looks at you, and you know, like, he's got horns, right? So, like,
Was it Tirvi or was it Topsy?
oh, it was Topsy. You're right. I got it backwards. But as you sort of there we go. Topsy's being Topsy, and he literally lunges for the bag of oats, right? Just, like, hungry, famished, clearly on the edge of death, said sarcastically. What? I have. Oh my god. Sorry, Cyber's being an adult on the map, everybody.
Just count yourself lucky I didn't draw a dong. Okay.
I don't think Twitch would be super happy about that. Anyway, so as
There's enough of them.
you know
There's
how,
enough of
like,
them streaming.
okay, Jesus Christ. Anyway, as he sees this oat bag on the ground, what he does is the following. He sees it. He takes 2 steps towards it, right? And it's within the reach of his mouth. I don't know if you've ever seen, like, those videos where, like, horses will get their heads stuck in feed bags because they're, like, so hungry or whatever. That they just flip the bag, like, over onto their head and then freak the fuck out. That's what's happening right now.
I haven't seen videos of that happen. I can confirm I've seen it happen in real life.
Yeah. It's the funniest thing in the world.
It's terrifying.
Because
it's terrifying when you're there for it, because horses are fucking scary, man.
Yeah, and they start stomping around, and you're like, I don't know how to help you unless you stand still.
Yeah.
Topsy is having one of those moments, and Wheelie, he kind of, like, is looking around, but he's, like, multitasking, eating, not really concerned about the fact that the bag is on his head in a way he can't get it off. And really what happened is Topsy has horns. just kind of got stuck there, right? And so it kind of like got off his face a little bit, so it's like only covering half of his face, but it is one of his horns actually poked a hole in it. So now he's just got a feed bag hanging off his face. So he's got like one eye open and like the left side of his face is normal and then the right side is just feed bag. So he's not like freaking out, but like he's not comfy. That's for sure. So
Really would sort of give him pats and try and once he was tries to keep him calm. Once he's finished eating, 'cause he knows better than to get between Topsy and his food because oh boy, he's dealt with that before. He will wait for Topsy to finish, trying to keep him as calm as possible, and then will gently try and aid the now broken feedback off his face, off his horn and off his.
Can you roll me just a single d6? Give me a number.
A 4.
Okay. He does get you. So like you have like he kind of like his mouth snaps at nothing, and it like your hand where it is like very narrowly escapes getting like bitten severely, but he does kind of scratch you. Like his teeth kind of dig in a little bit. To the point where like you're not wounded or like injured to the point where it would have like done damage to you mechanically, but like he was unhappy about your hands getting that close to his mouth and acted accordingly. So there's a little bit of blood, but the feed bag is gone. Could be worse because he could have broken your fingers, but he definitely didn't leave you in a favorable condition. And you're a little bit embarrassed because again, like this goat, you love him dearly, but he makes a fool out of you at every turn. It's like he knows he can get away with it, so he acts a fool and wins all the time at your expense.
Willie doesn't really need help with because he's probably going to do that by himself, but
yeah. So you kind of enter through these like quasi-dwarven gates, and are also the delegation from the Blue Mountains is there, and the only like real difference in greeting is that the place where the delegations are being housed is different. So like the dwarves from Erebor are on like the west side of the Citadel, and the dwarves from the Blue Mountains are like on the north end or whatever. Like that's really, it's kind of like a welcome to the city. Gimli, son of Gloin, speaks very highly of you. You are welcome to wander and explore. Also, you're, invited to dinner with the king. Yada, yada, yada. Whole, 9-yard sort of conversation. And, can I get you both to roll me a... Okay, actually, roll me scan or awareness, whatever is higher, both of you.
Fuck. Wait. Oh, fuck off. Okay, that's a bad start.
If you roll a 12 or a 10 on the D12, let me know. And if you roll a 6 on the D6, let me know and how many.
Okay.
Alright, so, I rolled... Oh boy. I rolled an 11 on my D12.
Okay, so that's good. That's not a bad number. 12 is good, 10 is bad.
Oh, okay.
11 is good.
I thought 11 was...
I thought 11 was bad.
No.
Okay.
I probably got that wrong. I don't know.
You know how you said if we roll a 6, we should let you know?
Mm-hmm.
Does rolling 3 2s count?
No, sir. No, sir.
Alright, cool. That's me fucked then.
Okay.
So I got a total of 20, because I rolled an 11 on my D12, and I rolled a 9 on my 3D6.
And was that scan or awareness, Lev?
Oh, scum.
Okay.
I got 11 because I rolled a 5 and then 3 2s.
Oh no, buddy.
Yeah.
And what's that scanner awareness?
That was scan.
Okay.
My awareness isn't that good.
So, Wheelie, you've been kind of standing in this main open area for a long time, and you walked through these weirdly, slightly amateurish, but still dwarven in design gates. And as you look around the city, something that strikes you, specifically about the level of the city that you are currently in, is that war happened here. Like, it happened where you're standing. It didn't just happen out on that battlefield that was full of trenches and blood, like trenches and, burial mounds and whatever. It happened, like, in the streets that you are standing on, even inside this city. And it fascinates you, in a sense, that that is a thing that can happen, right? And so as you sort of look around, even like as you look up, so this little area right here where it's like gray on the map, that is kind of like a steep incline. And at the top of that is this kind of grand platform that you can kind of see out over everything. Like if you were standing at the top of this, you'd be kind of at the furthest reaching point of what you know is the citadel of Minas Tirith, or what was explained to you to be that. Even this like craggy mountain edge was not spared from that, which is interesting, to you anyway. And like Farron kind of gets the gist of it. Like Farron can, Farron is a warfighter by trade. Obviously, it was, went from being a warfighter to being, a Kingsguard and whatever. Those things are not as like shocking to him, I guess, because he fought in wars and he, I don't know, saw a Nazgul get killed inside Erebor. Great times for everyone.
That was a right laugh, aye.
Yeah, great time, best time even. And as he kind of takes it in, the thing that shocks him is that like so soon after it, there are women and children around. Like there are people around here who like couldn't have fought in whatever happened here. But like there's a little kid, running around playing, there are little kids playing tag together. There are, family members doing, like wives, even probably widows, to be completely honest, but there are women around. Like there are children here. And like this is normal. You can kind of infer that like their presence here, even though there was war and there are signs of the war that happened. Like that's the part that gets Farron real good. And as the dwarven delegations sort of disperse, being given orders from their collective leaders, to meet back, one of the, you get instructions like, this is what the Citadel Guard looks like. If you need directions to your lodgings, ask one of them, but you are free to explore the city. And as you sort of watch the group disperse, you can either disperse with them or stay where you are, but the choice is yours. What would you like to do?
I think Wheelie's going to make sure that Topsy is safely in the stables, so they're, or at least the stables near where they're staying, so he can
Okay.
make sure that he's definitely not going to be a dramatic little bitch like he is a lot of the time.
Okay, so
And that nobody,
yeah.
nobody, like, he doesn't misbehave himself, basically.
You're essentially
Before.
So where you all are staying is up here, in these lodgings that are in this sort of level right off the citadel. So this right here is what is called the Master's Tier. And you are given instructions to, let me put little markers on, I guess we're just gonna, I don't know which one we're gonna use. We're gonna use the money bag, because why not? So the delegation from Erebor is staying here. Oh, there. I'm gonna make you a little bit smaller, because you're big. The delegation from Erebor is staying right there. And the delegation from the Blue Mountains is staying kind of over here in this area. So the closest stable to where Wheelie will be staying is this building right here. So this one. And it is decently large for its size. It's right there. So you...
Okay. Yeah.
Do you go...
Fantastic. Like... So we'll make sure that Topsy is within there. It'll kind of explain some of the... He'll sort of forewarn the stable hands and stable master about Topsy's eccentricities, let's say, to put it politely. Just to kind of pre-warn them, just in case. And what to do to sort of avoid them, and what to do to calm him down if he starts being a dramatic little bitch. I think he might go on a bit of an explore, if there's time, to just sort of...
There is time. Okay, can you roll me an explore check, followed by a D6, please?
Okay.
So the second D6 is separate from the roll that you're making. It just is going to tell me where you end up. And the rest of the city.
Okay, so I got 9. Which doesn't beat my target number of 16.
Oof.
And the separate one is a 1.
Okay.
Brill.
So, the only place you really know how to get to in the city from where you are currently is the place you came from. So, after taking a, unfortunately, shall we say, circuitous route, typically you had your mount and you kind of were told where to go. But you kind of are wandering around the city, and you're kind of just going downhill until you are right back in the city where you started out originally. So you went from the bottom of the city to the top, and then just like winding these like circuitous routes, trying to find the gates that bring you from one tier to the other, and you just find your way back down to the workers tier, which is this first tier right here. And you are greeted quite enthusiastically by all the people that you come across, and the person that you inevitably ask for directions kind of chuckles at you and says, if you're looking for the gate or whatever, and you kind of get back down to the gate, and you see 3 sort of landmarks around you. There's this teal building, kind of this one right here that's like colored in teal, is a tavern that has been recently renamed. So there's like a sign hanging from the doorway that says one thing, but then it seems like someone tried to like paint over what was there. And the tavern that was formerly called the Thrush's Rest has been renamed the King's Rest in honor of the return of the king to his city. So there's that one. And then if you go a little bit north of there, so we've got, okay, here we go. This is the King's Rest. And then here is a sort of like little garden park area where you see a lot of like those kids and those women sort of like hanging out. There's a woman sitting there working on her sewing. There are a bunch of kids playing some child, kids games of men that you've never heard of, that look a lot like, you know, when you and your friends, when you were a kid, used to, hit each other with swords and call it war. You know what I mean? Like games like that. Um, like hit each other with wooden swords and call it war, I should say. And there's a little girl of all people running around with a wooden sword pretending to be the king. Like just fun, whimsy little moments.
Good lass.
Um, and last but not least, sort of down here, you see that there's sort of a guard post where the Citadel Guard has some members, as well as the City Watch, are all sort of just kind of trying to get their feet back under them after this crazy situation. But yeah, Farron, what do you do? We'll get back to that in a moment.
Honestly, I'm just gonna. Farron at this point is just taking in the new surroundings and just seeing all the. I think he's kind of very taken aback by the presence of sort of families and kids and all that, knowing, as you'd mentioned earlier, I was like, this was a city under siege not all that long ago. Where the fuck did these kids come from? And that's no right. With this is just that's a bit weird,
Yeah.
It's like seeing a live chicken in a butcher shop. You're like, what the fuck's going on here? But anyway.
Well, lucky
that
for
one's
you.
undercooked. But
Yikes, bro. Lucky for you. Kaga is drawing a lot of attention to herself just by existing.
Yeah, she does that.
She's big with a capital B, and she's, for as stubborn as she can be, as you're aware, she can also have those moments where she's just docile as hell. And you're like, man, wish you could be this way all the time, but alas, she's like, no. If I don't put at least a little bit of a stink up every
multitudes.
time. I contain multitudes, exactly. And a little girl, with like kind of waist length brown hair. She looks to be like 10 or 11 years old by the reckoning of men. Kind of comes over and, as if possessed by the capability to be chill, Kaga does a thing you've never seen her do in her life. And she just sits. It's like hind legs down, butt on the ground. She just sits like a dog. And this little girl kind of looks between her and you and back to her. Just kind of like try to like work up the courage to be like, excuse me, can I, say hello to your boar? Like she's trying to like reconcile what she's saying in her head, and like it sounds absurd
to her. With the size of the fucking horse-sized boar in front of her.
Yeah. Sorry. I just it looks kind of neat. Ish.
Calm down, little one. You'll hurt yourself.
Maybe. I'm tougher than I look,
Kaga.
though.
I'm sure you are. Her name's Kaga. And yes, you can say hello.
Yeah. So she just kind of like hesitantly, like, very much so reminiscent of like the toothless hiccup moment in How to Train Your Dragon. She just kind of like reaches her hand up to like pat the snout. And as she does this, Kaga just kind of like, again, possessed by some sort of deeply rooted level of kindness, that like you're just like you're such a brat to me, and yet this little wisp in the wind, you're choosing to be nice to.
Farron is fighting every single instinct to go boo. This poor wee lassie.
Bitch.
He just, so you can just see him holding back a wee laugh as he imagines the wee lassie getting a fright, but then thinks better of it. It's like,
So hand reaches up, connects with the side, like the jowl. Like she's kind of approaching it like she would approach a horse, right? She's like, I don't know how this works. And she just kind of like puts her hand on like the side of her face. But the thing about warboars is that they're a little bit more dense than horses. So she's expecting like, you know, what a horse would do, which is like kind of maybe like lean against it or like let her do the scritches or whatever. Nah, man, like Kaga puts the full weight of her head in this girl's hand. And she like nearly like she staggers a little bit because
Kaga,
of it.
no, Kaga, no, hold on.
Wow, she's heavy.
She is. And you're strong. Let me check your arm. Let me see.
I told you. And like she holds her arm out and she's like squeezing her fingers and whatever. Like, you know, clenching and unclenching her hand. She's like, ugh. I've never met a horse that could do that.
I think it might need to come off.
No, I'm fine. Nothing's broken.
And he actually does laugh. Just that, you're too quick for me.
Yeah.
Let me shoot.
Listen.
Come on, let me shoot.
She literally looks you in the eye and she's like so unimpressed. Like this 11-year-old girl is like, you know, I was a runner during the siege, you know. I was here the whole time.
Okay, upon hearing that, the laugh immediately stops. And Kaga's face, no, sorry, not Kaga, sorry, Farron's face just goes blank. I'm sorry, Ian.
I didn't break you, did I?
Could you say that again?
They needed Prince Imrahil needed runners for us to be able to communicate with each other across the city. And I was one of them. Moved real quick, and I stayed hidden the whole time.
Okay. What was that name again? The person that told you it was okay to run through the city during the siege?
Prince Imrahil?
Prince Imrahil. Okay, just a second. Don't worry. You're not in any trouble. That fucking prince might be, though. And he does say that under his breath, right?
Well, wait a minute. First of all, he didn't say it was okay. In fact, he tried to get me to leave a lot of times, but then when people started getting hurt, they still needed help.
Right, so at that point, Farron's gonna kind of search his pockets and everything to try and find anything that he can that's even slightly resembling a medal.
He has
or like something like some kind of ceremonial thing, you know?
I think the most like substantial thing that he has is that like he has this like palm size, like almost like disc that is like it's like forged metal, but it's not like anything fancy or whatever. It's just kind of like a thing that he carries in his pocket because it's nice to have, like, it's a tactile object that he can kind of like put his hands on, like if he's feeling stressed or like just thinking or whatever. Like to her, it's probably the most impressive thing she's ever seen. To you, not so much.
Okay.
You're like,
right,
this
so
is just scraps.
In that case, Farron's going to take that out of his pocket or rucksack or bag or whatever, wherever it's in. And he's going to, how am I... Is this lassie taller, shorter than me? Do I need to kneel down to her or anything like that? Like, what's the script there?
She is... So you can kind of guess.
Because I'm aware I'm a dwarf, but that is also a child.
Well,
so...
she's like 11 years old.
Okay.
But you can kind of tell by looking at her that she's not as, like, you see all the other kids running around, and, like, all the other kids who look her age are definitely taller than her. So she's definitely short for her age.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
So
she's not, like, taller than you, but, like,
aye.
Given more time
but she
to grow,
should be.
she probably... Yeah, she should be,
aye,
and given more time to grow, she probably will be, but she's not right now.
Right. Well, it sounds to me that you were very, very brave.
I mean, yeah, but it's not like I did anything super special.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Here, and he'll present the metal disc to her.
Why?
This has been with me for, I couldn't even tell you how long. And it's kept me safe through hard times. And it's helped me remember to keep my head out the clouds when things were looking a wee bit better than they should have been. This right here is perspective.
Well, don't you need it?
And he's going to place it in her hands. And says, what you did was far more than anyone should have ever asked or expected of you. But you did it. Not only did you do it, you asked to do it. That's brave. That's braver than brave.
She kind of like shrugs her shoulders in a very much so like innocent child kind of way, where she's just like, you know, they needed help. She's like trying to justify it or like make it seem like it's not as big a deal as it is, because like to her it was just like, you know, my family.
The obvious, yeah.
Yeah, it was the obvious thing to do, and like her mom was, you know, she kind of goes on and like maybe explain a little bit as she's like fidgeting with this thing in her hand, trying to debate whether or not she's gonna try and like hide it or like pocket it back to you, or not. And she sort of just kind of looks at him and is like, you know, like you're one of those. You came from the Lonely Mountain, right?
Yes, I did.
That red-headed dwarf who came with the king won't shut up about it.
And he will, as soon as he hears that, he will burst out laughing. Oh, oh, I can't wait to tell him that's what he's called. Right, sorry. Right.
But she kind of looks at you and says, like, they said that there was bad things happening where you're from too. And
oh yeah.
Thank you for the lurk boots.
Thank you.
But as she sort of like looks at you and she's like, you got attacked by bad stuff too, right?
That's right.
If given,
you know what that means?
What?
It means you were just as brave as a year-old dwarf.
What was that number again?
Who was trained.
You should wait. Sorry, one more time.
Sorry, I've it's years in the mines, kid. Years in the mines. My throat's a bit short, you know, with the dust that. And he's gonna look at Kat again, just like, shut up. She
literally, this child. So it's like the boar. Actually, no. Here's what happens: the boar and the child make eye contact, and the little girl goes, sure. But what she says, kind of after that, though, you know, it's like, whatever, I don't care about how old you are, but I do have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have just left, would you? All that bad stuff was happening, you wouldn't have just walked away? You didn't, I guess, is what I'm hearing, but...
Oh, no, but I wanted to. You see... Bravery isn't not wanting to run away. It isn't the absence of fear. Bravery is being more scared than you ever have been in your entire life. And doing what's right anyway. And that's what you did. The difference is, I was trained to do that. Years and years and years. And yet here you are. And you just did it.
I mean, I didn't do anything.
Because it was the right thing to do.
We didn't really... She kind of like looks behind her and she points to like a group of like 3 or 4 kids behind her, and you kind of notice that they're all wearing the livery, like you see the members of the Tower Guard wearing their very unique, like with the black and the silver on the edges and the Tree of Gondor and like the fancy feathered helmets that they wear, and like that is an adult, right? But they are
Aye.
all wearing, like this group of kids are wearing these little sort of uniforms that kind of indicate them as messengers.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
has like the white tree, and then it has like um instead of being black like the Citadel Guard, they're blue. So it's essentially a very similar in style, but like these are like the little kids who are in the Messenger Corps, and then yeah, the Citadel Guard is separate, but they are under the same umbrella. Um, and she kind of looks down at the object that you've given her, and she asks like, "Is there a way to? Can you break this into pieces? Because I'm not the only one who deserves it, and I think you only have the one."
Ah, you're right. I only have the one. I'll tell you what. And let me have a. Sorry, I'm just having a quick look through my character sheet to remind me if I actually can craft stuff. And I can't. I have like okay. I have a craft score. Okay, I can do things.
Mhm.
Oh wait, I have crafting tools on me.
Mhm.
How like dense is this metal?
It's not. It's like it's very soft. It's gold.
So
Essentially, it's kind of
wait,
like
so
a. It's kind of like you just took a whole bunch of gold scraps and like squished them
yeah.
into a disc like 100 years ago.
So with the crafting tools on me, would it be feasible for me to? You said there was about four kids there, right?
Mhm.
Would it be feasible for me to basically cut it into like wedges?
Like full pieces of 8 style.
Yeah. Like yeah.
Um,
So just one straight down the middle and then one across. So it's
I would say not in the current location that you're in,
mhm.
because you're just in the middle of a busy square and there's no like smiths
Yeah.
or anything around you whose like location you can borrow.
Yeah.
But like you can infer that those kids are going to be there every day, like without fail.
Okay.
Like they're wearing the livery of the unit that serves the king directly. They are very proud of that.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
very like um and you know, you can tell by looking at them that an unfortunate reality of war is that the kids see some shit.
Yeah.
You can infer that maybe as you kind of are looking around, you see more than just the 4 of them, but like that sort of situation, and they range in age from like probably 9 or 10 to like 16 or 17. They're not quite old enough to join the army yet, but like not, you know, young enough to be
To
prohibited
escape
from
service during that time.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so
So
there's a lot going
so with
on
that,
there.
what he's going to do is he said, okay, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
You give me a couple of days. I'll bring this to a smith, right?
Okay.
And I'll see about reforging it into a couple of medals.
Well, okay. She like doesn't know how to like. She's kind of like blown away by it, because again, like she did the thing. It's not to her. It's not like that special. But like she also is like, this old man is not letting it go, so I'm just gonna let him have his moment. Um.
He's just confused as to why this geriatric prick has just come up to it and just being like, "You're brilliant." What the fuck? What?
Thank you.
Love it. It's
Um.
like, so do you hang about here? Is this your stomping grounds, so to speak?
Well, I send messages between the workers tier. I'm like, I start the day here in the workers tier, but I sometimes get sent to like the soldiers tier, or I've even gone as far up as the masters tier. They have the older ones go into the citadel, but I kind of
Okay, right.
I kind of like bounce around depending on what messages need to be delivered to who and where they are located. But my name's Ellie, and I live here on the workers tier, though, not too horribly far away from where we are now.
Okay, right. Ellie. Okay, I'll remember that. And so what I'll do, okay, is, as I said, I'll get this forged into as many medals as I can get out of this. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see about getting that. And I'll see about getting them passed out to the messenger corps. Because you did something special. Really special. It might not feel like it. You might not know it now. But when you're I'm sure you're sick of old people telling you this, but when you're a wee bit older, you'll realise what you did.
Maybe. And she kind of looks behind her and sees that, like, a member of the Citadel Guard is kind of, like, motioning for her to kind of come back, and she kind of looks at him, and she kind of bows a little bit at the waist.
And he will very pointedly bow deeper than she does, like, as a sign of respect.
Her eyes go, like, big as, like, saucers. She's like, oh my god, I don't know what's happening. But as she sort of looks around, she waves at you, and she kind of, like, reaches up again, not to avoid the incident with the arm that occurred before. She kind of, like, pats Kaga on the head, and, like, very quickly withdraws her hands. So it's like, pat. This is, just like, but she kind of nods, and, like, just before you can even blink, she's, like, run back and actually been given an envelope to go deliver somewhere and is just off. So, yeah.
And so at that point, Farron's just going to stand completely still, just turning the metal just in his hand. And as soon as she can't see him, his face is just going to go dark. And he's going to immediately turn to Kaga. Yeah. And just be like... I thought we were done with this shit.
Okay. So, can I have the two of you roll me an awareness check? Actually, awareness this time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you two.
So that's just a straight D12 for me.
Oof.
And I guess what I've got to beat.
Look, if you roll a 12, just let me know. Nope.
No.
Oh, tragedy.
It's a 10.
Your old age is catching up with you, Farron.
It's
even
10.
worse. Can you roll for me as well, Wheelie?
Yep, sorry, was just rolling. Just adding
sorry.
that up, so that's 7.
Numbers are hard. I get it.
So I rolled a 13, which is exactly my target number for that one.
No, check you.
All right.
I know, right?
You two both. Wheelie catches Farron's eye again. Familiar with the crotchety old man who called him on his bullshit. Earlier in the day. And as he sort of moves towards, like, Wheelie kind of. The two dwarves make eye contact, and whatever happens next is up to you. But you hear this, like, beautiful sounding, like, dolorous, like, bell kind of, like, peal from the Citadel, and it is... You can imagine how loud it would be in the Citadel for that bell to be heard, to then also be heard as clearly as you're hearing it all the way down in the workers' tier.
I think that's Enya.
Motherfucker. But
That means we're going into the west.
Hey!
Oh, no, sorry, that's mate B. Sorry.
I'm gonna let you get your giggles out.
I think.
I'm gonna let you get your giggles out. Wheelie, the elves of Lothlorien with whom you traveled to the city. They did not enter the city at the same time as you. They made camp outside so there's this big wall, and then the Pelennor. So the outside of the big wall, that I can't remember the name of because I'm tired. But as they have finally a small group of about 6 or 7 elves have seen fit to come into the city. You recognize these elves. You recognize, I'd say, 6 out of the 8. You recognize Eladan and Elrohir and Elrond and Arwen and Celeborn and Galadriel. But there are 2 elves that you do not recognize who have come into the city with this group. One is tall and armored in like a set of armor that is very different than what Elladan and Elrohir are wearing, which is more in the traditional like Lothlorien Rivendell style. But his armor looks very different, and as you behold the middle of it, both of you, you see that it is embossed with this very unique looking flower. It has 3 petals and is sort of like in shades of yellow with like green and gold kind of filigree painting kind of coming away from it. And he's got a kind of a circlet with gems in the front that make that same like 3-petaled flower. And he's, very finely bedecked. As is everyone, but like no one else in the group looks like this guy in his level of finery. And then the last elf that kind of arrives with them has kind of long brown hair, a very dour countenance. You kind of saw him kind of hanging around with Elrond and his family a lot on the journey, but didn't really register that he was like, important enough to warrant him being kind of a part of this group. Pardon me for the burp. Oops. But as he sort of arrives, like as they all sort of enter the city, the world around you guys just kind of stops. It's like people realize who that is. Like the thing that they came here for. They've heard tell of, the Lady Arwen and her, star-crossed lover's story with the king, and about how she gave up her immortality to marry the king of Gondor, but he could only ever marry him if he became the king of Gondor, and it seems like such a romantic tale that has no basis in reality, and yet like here it is standing right in front of you. But no one was expecting them today. So everyone's just kind of like, elves, the elves are here. Elves, the elves are here. Shit. But as people kind of move to like make a show, Elrond kind of steps forward and calms the crowd, and says like, we want to surprise him. Like we would like to, surprise, Estelle with our presence, and they kind of make a show of trying not to make a show out of it, if that makes sense. And the group of elves sort of recognizes, Wheelie and are very polite to him. And as you sort of figure out like what is happening, what's going on, it seems just very bizarre that all of this is happening when it's happening. But as that sort of occurs, can I get you both to roll me a lore check, please?
Oh no.
One of you will get it. That seems to be happening these days.
And it's not going to be me. 10.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be 9. 16, so I've meet my wits target number.
Okay.
Is it, sorry, 10 as in I rolled a 10 on the d12.
Oh,
So I'm not, I didn't even bother rolling d6.
bad. So as you are watching, Farron, like, the only elves you've seen up close are, like, the elves from Mirkwood, which do not look anything like these elves. They look a little bit like, if you're looking at, like, the elves of Mirkwood, the Sylvan elves of Mirkwood, compared to, like, the high elves of Rivendell and like, Imladris and Lothlorien, like, they are not the same. They carry themselves with that same, like, ancient and regal bearing. Like, they have seen shit and survived it, sort of, like, aloof sort of air. But, like, you are just so taken aback by the beauty of these people that, like, any sort of, like, information that you could recall ever knowing about them, gone. But Wheelie's a book boy. Wheelie always reads his books. Sometimes more than once. And, Wheelie, actually, what you realize is the one figure that you, like, didn't recognize, bedecked in all that finery, is a bit of a hero. Among the elves and also among Middle-earth. He was killed by a Balrog in a place called Gondolin. But then he was sent back to Middle-earth by the Valar to continue on his mission of protecting Middle-earth from the powers and forces of Sauron. This is Glorfindel, the House of the Golden Flower, and he stands before you in full raiment. Every bit of the glory that you have heard and read about in your books personified. And he defers to the instructions of his betters. Betters, I say, but
So,
yeah.
Farron's just going to... So we're standing, like, quite close to one another, yeah, Farron and Wheelie.
I'd say so, yeah.
Right, so Farron's just going to tap Wheelie and just hey, tss. Who's the geezer in the white?
Oh my, who's the geezer in the white?
Are you telling me you don't recognize Glorfindel?
No, I'm telling you, I don't know who the geezer in the white is. What the fuck's a Glorfindel? Sounds like an instrument. Is it like a banjo?
No.
Sounds like a banjo.
Tell me Wheelie's about to have an aneurysm without telling me Wheelie's about to have an aneurysm.
Does sound like something you hear in the banjo, doesn't it? You know?
His sort of cheek lower lid area of his right eye has started twitching. He's on a banjo.
You just see the forehead vein popping.
He sort of takes a deep breath and sort of... No, he is a hero among the elves. He fought a Balrog.
You what?
And whilst he ultimately was not successful in his fate,
Hold on.
The Maiar...
He fought a Balrog, he wasn't successful. How's he
he was... Well, he was.
What, to get better?
You could say that, hey. No, you've heard of the Maiar, right? Please tell me you've heard of the Maiar.
Aye, sure.
I would say that Farron has probably come across either Radagast the Brown or Gandalf the White, or Gandalf the Grey, not Gandalf the White, but, like, he's met with
his answer will remain unchanged at that point. It's just going to, because at this point, Farron's just being a little bit of a shit, and it's enjoying winding him up. Because courtesy of the previous comment about the walls, he's just like, that's an uptight wee bastard, I'm going to get him. Right? So even if he did know, he's probably still just going to be like, no.
Right. So
whatever do you mean?
the Maiar are all powerful gods, I suppose, that walk among the living. They saw
Someone nearby hears this and says, they're not the Valar. They are servants of the Valar.
Yes, that is a better way of putting it. Thank you.
I thought that Wayne fucked off.
Yes, so the Maiar are as close as living beings can get to the gods. They are servants of the Valar. And given Glorfindel's heroics, they saw fit to bring him back to fulfill his quest, to fulfill his role in keeping the peoples of Middle-earth safe.
That's alright for some, isn't it?
It's the best. Conversation.
Just for confirmation, did he actually kill the Balrog, or did the Balrog?
He did kill the Balrog to keep it from further. So essentially, what happened is he got killed by the Balrog. It was like mutually assured destruction to protect the people who are fleeing from Gondolin from being killed by it.
So also you're right. So, whilst yes, he was killed by said Balrog, he did. It was mutually assured destruction. He killed the Balrog in the process, and he was brought back for his heroics.
Right.
Safe to say, he could kick each of our asses past each 10-day multiple times. And
Aye, but would he though?
And as you ask that question, you see his beautifully elven face kind of land on yours, and he kind of raises a brow at you with like a wry smile on his face, which kind of to you implies maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't, and I don't want to find out.
Right. So hold on a second. So being somewhat familiar with Gandalf the Grey, see now that I'm seeing his face up close. Wait a bloody minute.
Oh, this isn't Gandalf the White. This is Glorfindel.
All right, aye. Sorry, different person.
Yeah.
But I, but like, seeing it, I'm sitting there, I'm going, hold on now. Kind of looking at him like.
And as you're sort of continuing to have this conversation and like learn about the history of the elves that you never really cared about until this moment where you saw this guy bedecked in the finest armor you've ever seen with like 2 swords hanging off his belt, looking like he's here for some other purpose than a wedding. He looks like he's here for war, but he's actually here for a wedding. And as that bell,
Scottish wedding.
Yeah. Yep. He's got a dirk hidden in his boot, actually.
Yes.
But as you are sort of coming face to face with this conversation, that like loud as hell, dolorous bell echoes across the city again, and a lot of people in the nearby structures sort of emerge. From those structures. Looks like it is time. The workday is over. The sun is going down. It is time for...
Oh, it's a dinner bell.
Yeah. And you kind of are looking around, and as you do, you see that a lot of these, like, structures have actually been repurposed in the aftermath of the war into, like... houses are still being rebuilt, but these hubs of community have sort of popped up, where like, share meals are shared. There's like communal living spaces, those kinds of things to like, show that even though there was a war and a lot of people left the city, a lot of people didn't want to leave it forever, so they came back, and they are kind of rebuilding not only for themselves but for everyone kind of in the aftermath of this big scary thing that happened. And little Ellie will she had gone back from wherever her delivery was, and she kind of not with all the tact of an 11-year-old kind of dips and dodges through the elves, like doesn't even go around them. She's just like ducking through their legs, and runs from one side of the square to the other, where she sort of pulls something out of her pocket and presses it into Farron's hand before running off, and into what looks like that tavern, the King's Rest. She kind of just right in there. And then she kind of like bumped in between Farron and Willie, so like Willie will notice her kind of as well, but like before he can criticize her bad behavior, she is gone from their immediate space. Hello?
She a friend of yours?
Oh, just another warrior.
Aye. Not the, Then, I suppose any... Not that I would have any grievance against a child for slight,
Oh no, sorry, I could have worded that a hell of a lot better. And then he goes on and explains that about like the messenger's call and all that, and what he just learned, and he's like how he's like done very well in hiding his disgust at the idea of children in an active battlefield, and just recaps everything that he said to the wee Ian.
Yeah. So the object she has pressed into your hand actually has no small amount of weight to it. It's chunky.
Mm.
It's a thing.
All right, I'll take a look at that.
And as you look at it, it is a thing that has like a piece of paper wrapped around it. And like when you kind of uncrumple it, uncrumple the paper around the object, revealed underneath it is a very fine-looking brooch that is like kind of the white tree of Gondor, sort of with a black enamel background on it, and like very like ceremonial looking, like it might have come off of a uniform, but it's small enough that you can probably tell it was hers, like it was part of her, like a fancy dress uniform or something. And on that like crumpled up like piece of paper, she had scrawled out in surprisingly neat, for, a kid who runs around and delivers messages all day, like, you're kind of surprised that, like, she knows how to write, which is weird, but, like, you wouldn't normally, like, expect that. And she said, and like, in that it says, oop, that's my water bottle hitting the deck, sorry about that. She says, it says, "You were brave too." Something along, it just says, "You were brave too." I think we can both, we can both say that we were brave. Don't, and then it kind of like, she kind of like has crossed some stuff out in the middle and says like, and then like the very last line says, this is for you. Don't try to give it back because I'll know. Ellie.
When he reads that, he is going to laugh out loud. So it's just
yeah. She's
perfect.
A cheeky little kid.
She's going to do well.
And while you're sort of like doing that, having that conversation, some members of the Citadel Guard have approached the elves. Two of them have kind of been assigned to stay with the future queen. And you can tell that these guys are like so uncomfortable with the idea of like not telling the King of Gondor that his future wife is here. But they, know a nice thing when they see one. and are trying to like not cause problems, obviously, because there's a coronation and political drama and everything happening. So the elves sort of accept their escort and depart the city again back to their encampment outside of the walls. And as they do, the the street sort of has settled down since everyone has left work and has gone to their shared meal spaces. One of the members of the Citadel Guard tells you guys that it is dinner time and that they're gonna escort you to mealtime with the king.
With who?
With you're from the Erebor delegation, correct?
Aye. Sorry.
Yeah. All of
Sorry, my mind was elsewhere. I do apologise. That's.
I mean, you arrived here with your king. You know how to be around kings, yes?
Yes, I know. I'm just, and he's just gonna say, just it's been, and he's gonna kind of turn the token that he was given over in his hands. Just, well, a lot to take in, these past few weeks.
Well, he sort of nods and looks down at the token, and a kind of wry smile crosses his face, and he says, Ellie gave you that, didn't she?
That she did, aye. That she did.
She wouldn't stop talking about the old dwarf man with the boar the size of a horse. He kind of like points at Kaga.
You hear that, Kaga? You're famous.
She kind of like snorts and huffs. She sounds a little chuffed, actually. She's very like.
She's gonna get a big head off of that. I just know it. She just puts his hand in his head and like, shouldn't have said that.
You are all sort of escorted through the city. It's probably easier for Farron than it would be for Willie, because Willie doesn't have Topsy, but Farron has Kaga. The way that you get up to the Citadel is actually quite interesting, because he takes you down like paths like this, and then you kind of go, oh, there's a way up to the next level, and then you kind of zigzag your way like through the city and up through these sort of passageways to the next tier, the next tier, and the next tier. But nothing like really prepares you for the grandeur of the Citadel when you are in it. Now, before you can go into the Citadel, obviously Kaga cannot come with you. She is far too large for the doors. But you are sort of met in this courtyard by a dark-haired man wearing a silver circlet and the sort of uniform of a high-ranking member of the Citadel Guard. However, those of you who might have been paying attention to political conversations that happened on your way here know that this is not just any ordinary member of the Citadel Guard, but this is the new steward of Gondor, Faramir, son of Denethor, who has come to greet you for this meal that you are about to have, that your delegations are about to have. So, do you put Kaga up in the stable, or do you insist she comes with you anyway? There are options for you, Farron.
Well, what I would say is I would probably put, in the interest of keeping the peace, put Kaga in the stables. But just warn them, but listen, this un's royalty, by the way.
Oh?
And I think she knows it. Act accordingly.
All right. Now the question becomes, do we put the two drama animals in the same stable or in a different one? I'm going to say for the sanity of those stable keepers, Kaka's going to go over here closer to the Erebor delegation's quarters than...
Good move. Good move.
We're gonna separate the drama llamas from each other and call it good. But as you are having this conversation with Faramir, he kind of waits for all the delegations to arrive. He is very much so dressed in kind of post-wartime finery. So he's not like... You think that, like, in Erebor it's very clear. You can tell by looking at people who, the leaders are just based on how they're dressed. But it's definitely not the same here because Gondor has just come out of a war, and what is finery when, people are, coming back into a city that is, was besieged and a whole bunch of different things happened and yada yada yada. So, like, he's very much so dressed as well as he can be dressed, but that is definitely not, like, the height of Gondor fashion or finery or any of that. Standing beside him is an equally tall and dark-haired man who does not wear the finery or the heraldry of Gondor, but he wears a blue tabard. He wears kind of like a winged circlet, so it has, like, wings on the side. And he wears a doublet that has a ship on it. So it's like ship, and then kind of has waves underneath it and a swan on top. Faramir kind of bows his head and says, "This is my uncle and friend of the crown, Prince Imrahil of Dol Amroth. He is here also for this meal tonight. Give us, we're just kind of waiting. They wait for the stragglers for a few minutes before sort of escorting you into the dining hall, as it were, where all the delegations are kind of... The dwarves are seated at one table. The elves, the elves that are there, like the Mirkwood elves. So the Lothlorien and the Rivendell elves aren't there, but there are Mirkwood elves. There are rangers of the Dunedain dressed in shades of gray and black. There are members of the Gondorian military of various levels. There are all kinds of different folks. Farron, your bestie's here. And by bestie, I mean about 5 minutes after you arrive in this dining hall, who else should show his face? But one boisterous, loud, red-headed dwarf that you refuse to see as an adult. And accompanied by an elf, no less.
Eh?
Yeah. Yeah. As, Gimli and...
Something happened there.
Yeah. Gimli and Legolas enter in this majestic dining room. And Gimli, when he sees you, his face kind of, like, lights up and then drops a little bit because he remembers that, like, you exist to take the piss out of him. And so...
so at that point, he would... Am I able to walk over, or is there like a procession going on or something?
No. So the procession has occurred. So everyone kind of walked in together, but like he's...
right, okay.
Hang on, let me just grab a little... Okay, there he is. Second. And so he kind of enters in, and he was like aware that the delegation from Erebor was there. He just did not stop once to think that maybe you would be a member of it. So he's just like, beans.
So in that case, Farron would walk up to Gimli with a shit-eating grin on his face, right?
And he kind of goes,
like,
Farron, good to see you.
Lord.
What?
Miss me. How you doing, Gimli?
He's just like, he is lost. He is as lost as Kendall just was.
No, just messing me. Listen, it's a happy day. Don't worry. I'm no here to rip you rotten. Okay?
I would hope not. And like he gets over his shock, right? Very quickly, and he kind of like claps you on the shoulder, and he like tugs you along, like kind of like how Kaga did earlier, but like actually like with some force behind it as like a person. And he kind of drags you over to where the other dwarves are, to like mainly though the ale, like the table with ale on it behind where the other dwarves are, that they intentionally put where it is so that it would be easier for the dwarves to get ale without having to ask for it all the time.
Good call.
Like he drags you over, and like all the dwarves from the Blue Mountains, like Dwalin himself is a little bit more dour than he has been in the past, just given the information that he received on the way from the Blue Mountains by way of Moria, and how his, adopted daughter did not survive. His brother didn't survive, his adopted daughter didn't survive. So he's in a little bit more of a dour mood. And the other dwarves of the Blue Mountains like want to join in on the celebration, but they don't really know how. But I think they're just waiting for someone to like break the ice a little bit from that specific delegation before they kind of do anything too crazy.
Right.
Because they don't want to like cause problems on purpose. So eventually a horn is blown. The Rangers and the Gondorian soldiers and all of the men in the room stand. The expectation for everyone else is not that they also have to stand, but for the citizens of Gondor, obviously they are offering deference, to their king as he enters the room from this end back here. He'll get a little token in a second, but he's coming from that way. And as he enters, again, that like show of respect, a lot of the dwarves sort of will stand up anyway as like a way to like show their respect, at least to this individual who is the king. But he is very clearly and obviously not used to having a show made of his presence. Anybody who lived in the north knows tell of, Strider, the man he was before. And it's just kind of a lot for him, and so he's overwhelmed. But as he enters, Imrahil and Faramir will sort of stay standing until he is kind of like with them up here. So we've got all kinds of people, and this sort of ceremonial moment occurs. But then you see, as he's getting ready to, like, give a speech, say thank you for coming or whatever, it is very almost humorously interrupted by not one, not two, but three very small individuals, smaller than the dwarves even, which is rare and strange. Those of you who've never seen The Hobbit before, that's a fun time. And there's 4 of them.
Good. I slipped my dash shrunk in the wash.
What? And one of them...
Dory, look at them! Oh.
Have you never seen a Hobbit before? One of the other dwarves
I heard
says.
about them. Never seen one.
Oh, well... Forgot you didn't go on any of the trade missions to the Blue Mountains. This like dwarven woman who traveled with you all this way is just like kind of laughing at you.
Hey.
What?
Okay, fair, but still.
Yeah. Look, not our fault. You glued yourself to Dane's side and never left.
Okay, at that point, Farron's going to give a very pointed look and just be like, I had my duty. I fulfilled it.
Yeah, now live a little. And she kind of like elbows him in the ribs, like not at all like nicely about it. She's like full on dwarven, like right into the rib cage.
Aye.
But you remember?
Wait, does she manage to hit the same bit that Kaga hit earlier? Because that's going to hurt like a bastard if she did.
You know what? Let's find out. No, she barely hits you at all, actually. But like she intends for it to be a little bit more painful than it ended up being.
Okay.
But as this whole like kind of exchange is happening, the three leaders in the room, so the king, the steward, and the prince, are all kind of standing, and this ceremonial speech is being given, but like you have no real context for it because you're a dwarf from somewhere else and you've never really seen ceremony like this before. But to a dwarf like Wheelie, this is probably the most interesting thing that's happened to you since you got here. You went from being embarrassed by your goat to getting lost in the city to witnessing elves and seeing Glorfindel and like all of these interesting things. Like, yeah, history is happening in front of my eyes, but this diplomatic speech, damn, it's great. And so as the speech occurs, Farron, you remember the name Imrahil from a certain conversation you had with a certain small child not too long ago.
Oh yeah, so when he sees Imrahil, he's going to be like, his face is going to harden ever so slightly. He's aware of where he is, obviously. He was a fucking emissary to the bloody king, for Christ's sake. He knows how to act. But at the same time, he's kind of like, that's the man. That's the one.
And he kind of notices the look you're giving him. And
right, so when he clocks it, he's just gonna again start playing with the medal that he was given in his hand.
That kind of
quite openly, like not
a little bit more curiosity from him about where he got that from, because it's very clear you are a dwarf, not Gondorian. Like, what the hell? Where did that come from? And so he slowly, like, he's stopped, obviously, by a bunch of the soldiers who are also wearing the same livery as him. You can tell that there's definitely a strong familiarity between him and a couple of the soldiers that are there. You can assume that these are his children. And as he sort of makes his way over to you, and once he finally stops kind of getting interrupted, he sort of motions for you to, like, move towards the back of the room. So that maybe you can have whatever conversation's about to be had in private.
Okay, yeah, I'd accept that.
And he kind of looks... He tries to debate whether or not it would be more offensive to you for him to look down at you or for him to sit while you are standing.
Would I see what's happening and kind of clue into what he's doing here? Would I?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd look at him and just put, whatever makes you comfortable. With a kind of knowing smile.
He kind of, there's an empty table kind of nearby, and he motions for you to take a seat before he also does.
Aye.
And he says, I apologize, Mr. Dwarf, but you've been looking at me quite harshly for the past while, and I just wanted to make sure I had not offended you.
Sorry, pal. Well, in the interest of honesty and in the spirit of collaboration and what's been achieved here today, and he'll put the coin down there and just say, I'm going to attempt to be as understanding as my morals will allow. children on the battlefield.
And he kind of nods. and he says, he like lets out this big sigh and like pinches the bridge of his nose, and he nods, like he owns up to it. He's not gonna just like pretend it didn't happen. He owns up to it, and he says, "It was not my first, second, third, or even fourth choice for anyone who was unwilling or unable to fight to be present there. I assure you that they were not asked to carry weapons or to go anywhere near where the fighting was thickest. The fighting happened in the workers' tier and the soldiers' tier, but we never sent them any lower than the craftsman's tier, which is the third. You would know that it's the workers' tier, the soldiers' tier, the craftsman's tier, and the workers' tier and the soldiers' tier were where the fighting was happening. But the closest that any child ever got to it was the wall, the lower wall of the craftsman's tier. So essentially, he was using the children to sort of send messages from the upper, like the higher part of the battlefield from one side to the other so that the commanders could communicate and make decisions, which was still far closer than even he wanted them to be. But given the situation they were in,
so
they didn't have any
now
soldiers
that
to spare.
whereas he is face to face and he's getting a right good look at him, does he seem genuine in his regret of what happened, or is this more does it seem performative in any way? Like, I don't know, trying to think of the way to word it, but
no, and like the thing is that like his whole opinion of the matter is that, like, you know, he kind of looks between you and across the room where some of those young messengers that you saw earlier in the day are present. Ellie is not. She's still too young for the Citadel, but you see people in that uniform in and among the soldiers, and he kind of heaves a sigh and he says, you know, I had a hard enough time bringing my own children here from Dol Amroth. They're grown, right? They're adults. We spend so much time, or we have spent, Valar willing, we will not need to spend any more time fighting against an enemy that only knows destruction. And that is an enemy that will only take. It takes and it takes and it takes, and we needed people to be here. My son I do not know what you know of the reputation of the Swan Knights of Dol Amroth, but we are some of the best fighters that Gondor has to offer. The Rangers of Ithilien, the Swan Knights of Dol Amroth, the Citadel Guard, these units are elite units. And for them to be called upon to defend this city altogether speaks volumes to what we were fighting, what the nature of our enemy was, and the volume by which they threw themselves at our mercy. If I had had my way, that evil would never have come here. But it did come. And I knew that those children were going to find their way onto the battlefield with or without my permission. They were going to do what they wanted to do.
At that point, he's laughing. He just says, "Well, if the one I met was anything to go by, then you done well to keep them from picking up swords."
I knew they were going to find something to do if I did not give them something to do, Master Dwarf.
And he'll extend out a hand. It's like a handshake, like a gesture.
And he
This war has made fools of great men.
And when you say that,
I'm glad to see that you are not among that number.
yeah. And when you say that this war has made fools of great men, he kind of, his face falls a little bit, and his gaze kind of drifts across the room to the steward, Faramir. And as he, and it's almost like his eyes kind of scan across the room, like he's looking for someone who isn't actually there. And a sort of like haunted look crosses his eyes for like a split second before he is back in the present with you. And he shakes your hand. And he says, yes, it has. But may those who rise from the ashes of their folly be better for it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Oh, while I've got you. And he's going to produce the gold disc.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to, with your permission, have this forged into medals for those who served in your messenger corps.
He kind of smiles at you. And he, like, kind of looks at it and he says, well, we had far more messengers than this will make medals for.
I'm well aware. Consider it the start of something. And again, he'll show the. The wee lassie called Ellie.
Yes, she helped me personally during the battle. I know who she is.
Yeah. Well, she's the one that told me about this, about what happened.
He kind of looks like
And
he,
yet she seems decidedly convinced that what they did was not worthy of celebration, but rather was simply necessary and was the only option they had available. The only smart thing they could have done. Now, I don't know about you, but I've seen people given seats of power for far less than that. I believe a medal's the least that I or anyone else could do.
He nods and looks down at the gold and up in your eyes again, and he says, you know, there's much that needs rebuilding. There's much that needs doing in this age of the king, the first king Gondor's had in generations. We lost many in the battle of the Pelennor Fields, even more in the battle of the Morannon. What we have gained is seeing the defeat of a great evil. But even the defeat of a great evil cannot return what was lost. I will speak to the king. I will see about having a ceremony where even the youngest and the most humble among us may be recognized as the heroes that they are to this realm and to this city and to all who remain within it. Those children were forced into a situation where, we were evacuating people into Lasarnoch and Lebanon, but it wasn't fast enough. So they were here. And I can tell you right now that if this, Ellie is anything like my own daughter, she would have done it with or without a way to do it safely. She would have done it with or without a further justification than, well, everyone else is doing it, so I guess I have to as well. And they are heroes, whether they choose to see themselves that way or not. They don't, they weren't out on the battlefield. They weren't beyond the walls, but every action taken in the siege mattered. And they saved, and what they did do saved lives. And although some of these children wanted nothing more than to ride out with me to save my nephew, or be there when the gates were, beaten open and kill orcs, that's not a place for a child. It's not a place for them. And unfortunately, our neighbors to the north, Rohan, didn't have a choice. The Battle of Helm's Deep that secured a victory over Isengard was fought in part by children. Anybody who could hold a weapon was given one to use. That is the nature of the war against an enemy like Sauron. Sometimes needs must, and what is needed is to make hard decisions, and if, that is a thing that had to happen here, it probably would have, but we were as lucky as we could have been that it was somewhat avoidable.
A dark enemy indeed. May we never see its likes again.
He grabs a glass from a tray that's walking past him for you and one for him, and he kind of knocks it with yours and says, "Aye." And in a very unprince-like manner, just the full mug of ale is gone before he lowers it from his mouth again.
I knew I liked you. He'll return in kind.
Wheelie, as you are sitting there kind of watching your dour companions be dour, I imagine you're like watching the dwarves of Erebor being loud and raucous and being like, dang it, I wish I could do that. You know what? I can do that. You are a man of music. You are a man of considerable scholarly knowledge. What do you do? What do you do to lighten up the Blue Mountain dwarves a little bit so they can join in the celebration?
Music playing currently.
It's very quiet, like very demure, very elvish music. Not doing anything to bolster the mood of your companions, I can tell you that right now.
So, would you know if it would be a bit of a faux pas? He's committed enough of those so far already. If he was to get his lute out and start playing dwarven music for his companions to liven the party a little bit for them.
I mean, Gimli's here. If he hasn't done anything that's going to offend them so much they throw him out, I think you're good.
That's fair. So, he will...
Am I wrong?
Awesome. Yeah, I mean...
I love that Gimli is the yardstick for social failure. That is just fucking fantastic.
So, he's going to get some of his... Whilst the won't pull out any of his, as we're here to celebrate everyone, not just the dwarves.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he's not going to pull out any tunes specifically about dwarven heroism, but he will try and pull out some songs that will rouse the spirits, will sort of induce a party atmosphere, to try and get them celebrating instead of all being sour-faced bastards in the middle of a place, in the middle of a time that we're supposed to be celebrating victories, celebrating marriage, celebrating the new king. In fact, I think he'd actually written something. Let's see, where's my OneNote gone?
I don't know, I'm not on your computer.
There you go, you see? I knew you'd rip me at some point.
Sorry.
No,
At least you,
I
at
encourage
least you admit that it is inevitable.
Yes, I know it is inevitable, and it is. Yes, I can't find it in my notes, unfortunately, but he will sort of start playing his lute, start trying to get them a little more sort of in the party spirit, in the spirit of celebration.
Yeah.
But I need to write. Was that a song or craft, or what would be the?
It would be a song check for me, please. And I'm gonna, if you're not already favored, I am going to give you the favored status because Gimli notices what you're doing and joins in, so he's gonna help you out.
Okay, so
that.
I'm favored anyway. So,
Okay.
yay, double favor! Woo, totally what you meant.
You know what? Sure. I'm in charge. Absolutely. Roll 3d12s, I dare you.
Okay, so out of the 3d12s, I got an 11 is the highest. And let's see, I get to roll 3d6 on top of that. So that's a total of 19, which is 6 over my target number for that.
Okay, so here's what's about to happen. The dwarves around you, you pull out your lute, you start singing your song, and their ears perk up a little bit. And they're, like, hearing this song, and they're, like, in a tune, in a tone, in a rhythm pattern that they're familiar with. Just, like, everything about it is, like, very, familiar in a way that kind of causes them to loosen up a little bit. Gimli has just started putting ale down in front of you all. So, like, you get an ale, and Dwalin gets an ale, and everyone who's traveled with you, like, Gimli's just passing ale. And some of them, like, as the music starts to, like, register in their head, just, like, start throwing it back. Like, it is scary how they're just, like, throwing it back. And to the point where also, like, the hobbits come over. So, like, you know, Merry and Pippin specifically come over and are like, we don't know the song, but we're going to stomp our feet. We're going to dance around to it. One of the dwarves climbs on the table in the middle of this hall. Like, when I tell you that, like, it has become, like, if the elves were, like, if the high elves were, like, if Elrond was here, he'd be rolling his eyes. Like, that's the sort of vibe that this section of the party sort of has become. And once the dwarves of Erebor
so this is the good bit.
figure out what's happening, they also join in. And so, like, you know, all of a sudden, all of the dwarves are, like, headbutting each other. And, like, you know, big old, like, hugs, like, claps on the back. And even Dwalin, who has been nothing but, like, sad and reserved since Moria, kind of comes to awareness. It's almost like he snaps out of some sort of trance. And he sees a wizardly figure in the corner. And he kind of nods to that figure, who then decides, with a mischievous smile on his face, to do the Gandalf thing. And he leans down and he whispers in Sam Gamgee's ear something that sends the hobbit running out of the room with a smile on his face.
Oh no.
He was sent on some sort of fetch quest. That's probably what you can assume. And it just turns into a party. And you look up towards the high table where, like, everyone is seated. So, like, there's a seat for Gimli and a seat for Legolas. And, Faramir, next to Faramir, you notice that there's an empty seat with a black cloth draped over it. Like, there's all of this, like, you'd notice there's a high table. And even the king's tapping his foot. He's trying to, like, keep his decorum about him, you know. Like, this is for me. I don't want to make it... It's already weird. I don't want to make it weirder, you know what I mean? It just turns into a dwarven, like, Minas Tirith...
Don't worry, lads, we'll get him.
Yeah, the Citadel has become Erebor, in a sense. Like has become like a dwarven bar. Um, and even Legolas is kind of like swept away in it, and he's tapping his foot. Um, and he and Gimli look at each other, and then Legolas kind of walks around the table to where the Mirkwood elves are. There's like 4 or 5 of them. There aren't very many. The king has not arrived yet, so it's just kind of like a loose gaggle of folks. Um, and even they like get involved. There are like there's an archery contest happening. Like suddenly it's just unmanageable, and all of the house staff are like trying to like figure out what to do. They've lost control completely. The seneschal who welcomed you all to the city just kind of leans over and is like, "It's okay, just let it happen. It's okay, just let it happen." Um, Sam returns with some fireworks.
Yeah, beauty.
Yep.
Fucking knew it.
Yep. Sam returns with an armful of fireworks. Gandalf sneaks out the back, motioning for the Hobbit to come.
Here we fucking go.
It has just turned into like Bilbo's 111th birthday, but dwarves instead of hobbits. And the king only has it in him to just kind of sit there and watch and smile as these people who have no real investment in this country or its success are celebrating that nevertheless. They united under the banner.
It the right way.
Yeah. They united under the banner of the King of Gondor to go to the Black Gate and fight Sauron in his home, to buy Frodo and Sam time to destroy the ring. Like, the only dwarf who was there was Gimli. And they're celebrating the defeat of Sauron, the return of, like, Gimli's alive. Hell yeah. Like, they were gonna find a reason to turn it into this, and they did. And as Willie just kind of sits there, all of a sudden the world, like, comes to life around him, and he's just kind of smiling, and whoever was playing music before, they're just like, nah, I don't need to. I don't need it. I'm just gonna let him do it. And there are a couple people who like come to join you and all this other stuff, and it's just such fun.
So of those people, Farron's gonna come over, clasp a hand firmly on Willie's shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So, well played, pal. Well played.
Literally and figuratively.
I have my moments.
And as the evening continues, you even drag the king into it a little bit. The king is, I'm not gonna say white girl wasted, but he's definitely not wasted by the time the evening ends. To the point.
Oh god, I just need a version of Aragorn singing "Unwritten" at the top of his fucking lungs.
Oh my god.
Feeling it on your...
Yeah, release your inhibitions, Aragorn. That's all you gotta do. Gosh, I can think of some Tolkien purists that I know who'd be so mad at me right now. But that's okay.
Fuck them.
They the night continues on, and Gandalf now would be like, Gandalf walks past you, and it takes you a second to realize, oh, I know that guy. And he like kind of walks through the dwarves, this like very tall figure in and amongst the small folk. Merry and Pippin got so wasted that they have actually fallen asleep on the table. They were dancing on the table, and now they're sleeping on the table. Dwalin himself has kind of like went over and was having a conversation with Aragorn Elisar, and now they're both crying about their dead family members. Like, all of this is happening, and the only person in the entire room who seems relatively like unaffected is Imrahil. Primarily because he only, until this day, knew a single dwarf, and is trying to at least keep some modicum of dignity about himself as a prince, as a lordly figure in this country.
Until this day, he knew one dwarf, and is now looking at this and just going, Oh, they're all like that.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
all of the soldiers of Gondor, so like the Citadel Guard, the Swan Knights, the Rangers of Ithilien who are there underneath. So like the Citadel Guard answers to Aragorn, the Rangers of Ithilien answer to Faramir, the Swan Knights answer to Imrahil. There is no order. There is only alcohol and celebrating and chaos and music and more drunkenness. And Legolas and Gimli had another drinking contest. You can guess how that went. All of this to say that like the meal happens, people are there, and the mood is definitely lifted in a way that it would not have been otherwise. Because there is so much to celebrate, and yet there is so much that was lost. But there can still be joy found in those moments of loss, and no one knows that better than the dwarves, who have lost much and rebuilt much more. So the night sort of ends, and there are people all on the floor in this encampment. It's not even an encampment, it's the Citadel. It is like the palace of this place. And there are even some Gondorian nobility who are kind of like scandalized. But Aragorn just kind of shrugs and says, like, you know, this victory is theirs to celebrate as much as it is ours. They can celebrate it however they see fit, when they see fit. Hell, if they see fit. But like, I'm not gonna stop them from whatever this is. But as the night kind of comes to a close, you kind of hear the noise, the faint poof, poof, of like the fireworks outside. Those who are not too inebriated, make their way outside to watch the display. And as this is happening, a hooded elven figure, a hooded figure sort of enters the courtyard. Not a threatening hooded figure, but a celebratory one, as the hood is flipped down on this elven figure, and figures, actually plural, as the sons of Elrond have slipped their enclosure and made their way to the Citadel. So that's where we're gonna end it today. We're gonna go into some fun negotiations next time, where we have to be serious and not drunk. So have fun with that. Damn it, right? Where are we going? There we're going. Alright. That was fun. Cyber, I genuinely thought you were about to punch Imrahil in the face. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, how do I explain that it's not his fault? I'm
not gonna, depending on like the main thing was if he felt like the forum was like, does he genuinely regret having to do that? Or is he the type of guy that was like, oh, finally, I have an excuse to do fucked shit because we're at war. You know, that was the kind of vibe he was feeling out there. He's like, are you someone I'm going to need to fight about this? Is that?
Yeah. And it was definitely one of those situations where he was like, look, I either give them a task to do, or they will find things to do on their own.
Yes.
And like, he's simply just like, I would like these children
There's
to
nothing,
not.
There's nothing more terrifying than a feral child.
Yeah. He's like, I would like these children to not, but on the off chance that I can't get them to not, I'm going to give them a place to focus their energy instead of just letting them loose in the city. Like,
fully.
And it's like so sad and unfortunate, right? Because you know that like Helm's Deep and stuff, like in the book, Tolkien describes it as like literally anyone who could hold a sword, not even a person who knew how to use one. Yeah, no,
it's mad. Yeah,
like if you could hold it, you were there, and you were expected to hold the line if you could, and like that. Yeah, and I feel like those decisions are not decisions that are made lightly by anyone. So it's definitely, big sad, but, oh, 1 second. Something weird just happened.
Shit.
Are you good, bro?
I'm putting my dice away and I dropped one.
But, yikes, buddy.
Rolled high, though.
It wasn't, I was gonna say,
First
like,
time
it
it's
wasn't
done that
the
all
D4,
fucking
was
day.
It? Listen, you're old. Farron is old. You did it to yourself.
It's funny though.
But for you two, you guys each get 3 skill points and 3 adventure points. You can spend those as you see fit to increase your skills. Yeah, this was fun. I love the fact that we had a dwarven party in the Citadel of Minas Tirith. That makes me so happy.
Just for context, I have a tab pulled up that's just Irish drinking songs. Just on the off chance that that it went in that direction.
Yeah, no, my favorite. It was just so like, you got a bunch of dwarves. Like, not everyone else is here yet.
Not just that, right? But you've got a bunch of dwarves and a bunch of soldiers who's just been told, "Hey, by the way, we done all right.
We did it.
We can go home. We can go home and see our families now, and this is us celebrating that fact." Like, did you see how fucking mental the street parties after World War II looked?
Oh yeah, next
and that
level.
was like yeah, that's the vibe. That's the vibe. It's like, holy shit, we survived that.
Oh, for sure.
Let's go fucking mental. Like that's the vibe.
We definitely did it. But okay, fellas. Sorry, I should drink water. But all right. Obviously, this isn't the only thing you do on the internet, right? So, unless it is, in which case that's totally fine. Sorry, I forgot. I mean,
flawless link.
Unless it is. So where else can we find you on the internet? Whoever wants to go first.
Shammers, you're up. I'm going to take a drink.
Right, so, the only place you'll be able to find me currently is here on SpecTop. However, it's going to take a long-ass time to get completely finished. However, there will be highlights and stuff posted for Altera whilst we film it. I will be playing the father of the main 2 characters, Nick Lightwing, in this TV series, or this series, I should say, because it probably isn't going to be on TV, but we never know.
Don't die dying is bad for you.
Yep, I will try my best not to die, love. But yes,
never mind, ignore me. Anyway.
Yes, yes. You'll be able to find Altera on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, where they'll be posting updates and bloopers, maybe, whilst we film. So that is where you can find myself on Tinterweb.
All right. I could probably do cybers in my sleep, but I'm gonna let him do it.
Alright, so hello, I'm Cyberman360. You can find me right here on Twitch at Cyberman_360. You can also find me over on Spotify. I were a co-host of the podcast with my very dear friend Mr. Jacob Russo called Archive Panic. The latest episode for which just went live earlier this week, where we are taking a look at an absolute mess of a movie. But nevertheless, that usually ends up for an episode that is great to listen to, fucking annoying to edit, but, but
what is it?
now.
What is it?
Is on Toby Hooper's Night Terrors.
Oh,
it's a
God.
fucking weird movie that does not know what it wants to be.
Oh no!
Released in 1993.
Like
Madness, and starring Robert Englund of Nightmare on Elm Street fame.
To quote Chris Evans,
yes,
I don't like it.
It's bad. It's about the Marquis de Sade, and Marquis de Sade shows up like 3 times in the movie. It's mad.
I don't like it.
It was supposed to be a period piece, and then they ran out of money, so then it wasn't.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Aye! So, we should tune and listen to that. You can also find me. Hold on, I need to remember my fucking handle on TikTok before I promote that shit. Give me 2 seconds.
I think it's the
While
same.
I remember what that is. Yes, you can also find me on TikTok at FlyingScotsman95, where I will soon be continuing a series that I've done on there called Blu-ray to Z, in which I'm making my way through the entirety of my Blu-ray collection to try and justify the massive credit card debt that it has landed me in.
Listen, you know, you spend your money on Blu-rays, I spend my money on LARP swords. We are not the same. Anyway, I also hang out here on...
My expenditure does emotional damage. So...
Okay, a LARP sword shouldn't do actual physical damage unless the person using it is being an asshole. Um, anyway,
Fair.
I also live here on SpecTub from time to time. I do this project, obviously, SpecTopTable. Also, have done fun things in the past, like Angels of Death, where I played the main character. Rachel. I have done, like, just last week, we played Halo Reach, and it just became, let's see how many times we can kill Kendall in a 5-minute period.
In my defense, I was going for Kira, and I just saw the K and got confused.
I don't. How? Our usernames are so different.
They both start with a K.
Mine is so much okay, anyway, we're not going to have this conversation right now because we're going to be here for an hour. However, we've also done fun things like Kendall and Kira, SpecW, Stardew Valley. We played Date Everything that one time, and it was really funny. Those are the kind of fun things that I bring to this SpecTub table, and I hope that you guys come back. Tomorrow, I believe Cyber and Huel are doing something unhinged, which should surprise no one.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. So for those that are aware, we're going to be playing the phenomenal Left 4 Dead 2 with a slight twist. So our dear friend and colleague Huel has put together a mod pack for the game in the Steam Workshop. However, neither myself nor I believe Stace will be joining us, but as well. Neither myself nor Stace have yet to clap eyes on what mods he has installed. And so we will see what is installed when we open the game, and then, I don't know, fucking profit. And that will be going live at 7:30 UK time tomorrow evening.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do my funky little sign off, which is this. Thank you so much for coming. We're so glad you are here and that you watched to the end. This is gonna be the mother and me this weekend safety briefing. Don't end up in the hospital, newspaper, or jail. If you do end up in jail, establish dominance quickly. Make good choices. Be a leader. Don't do anything I wouldn't do more than once. If you do, take pictures. Have a fantastic day, everybody. We will see you tomorrow, and we hope you have a great rest of your evening, night, whatever time zone. It's definitely not morning anywhere anymore. So I can't get in trouble for saying it. Anyway, have a good one. Bye-bye.